When storing the samples or sampling-related items, the best place to store is in a desiccator. If there is not a suitable dry place, store the items in a refrigerator. Prepare the filter cartridge in advance in a clean indoor environment before inserting the cartridge into the sampler. The filters should be sealed in a petri dish to prevent moisture. Always secure the filters from contamination. Install the mesh net into the filter cartridge before installing the Teflon filter. The mesh net prevents the filter from contamination and physical distortion. Grab the outside of the ring of the Teflon filter gently with a tweezer and place it onto the collector. The surface of the Teflon filter is very soft and vulnerable to damage even with a slight scratch. Therefore, be extra careful when handling the filters. Firmly grab the handle of the sampler and slowly move the sampler to the desired location. Mind the tall dimension of the sampling during transportation. The sampler must be placed on a flat surface and fixed tightly so that it does not move due to the vibration of the motor while sampling is in place. We recommend to tie the sampler multiple times tightly on a nearby rail. For humidity control, silica gels are used in this sampler. The blue color of the silica gel turns into pink or dull purple color as it absorbs moisture. Check the conditions of the silica gel at least once a month. The impact filter filters undesired contaminants and particles larger than PM2.5 from the sampled air. The impact filter is installed in the sampling stack, so the stack must be disassembled in order to replace the contaminated impact filter. 2 persons or more are required when replacing the impact filter of the sampler. 1 person should disassemble the filter pack unit while the other person keeps the sampling stack lifted up. Use an open-end wrench to lift up the lid of the filter pack. Then, take a paper towel and wipe the internals thoroughly. After cleaning, insert a new impact filter inside the filter pack. Drop the lubricating oil onto the impact filter. Use sufficient amount of oil so that the impact filter is completely submerged. After the oil is sufficiently absorbed into the impact filter, assemble the impact filter back in the stack. To reinstall the impact filter pack back into the sampler, place the impact filter pack in the disassembled sampling stack. Then, follow the previous steps backwards and assemble the impact filter into the sampling stack. Make sure the sampling stack is well assembled and fixed tightly onto the sampler. Check for misaligned parts or any leakages in the joints. The replacement period of the impact filter is once a month. If the impact filter is not replaced for a long time, the desired fine particles may not be sampled. Therefore, replace the impact filter according to the designated time interval. We will explain the details on how to operate the device to collect fine particles in the air. Before turning on the power of the device, you must first insert the USB. If you turn on the device without inserting the USB, it may not operate smoothly. Therefore, you must insert the USB first and then turn on the power of the device. The purpose of the USB is to record the total flow and flow rate of the sampled air. After the screen is turned on, you need to check whether the current filter status is sampling completed or whether there is an error due to another problem. Then, check the sampling start time and end time, which are located just below. If you turn the lever to open the space to insert the filter, you will see a space where you can insert the filter cartridge. Insert the filter with the silver mesh facing downward and the filter facing upward, and then turn the lever again to close the door, which will attach the filter. If the door does not close properly, air may leak out, so you must make sure that it is closed properly. To set the sampling time, touch the sampling settings button, which is the second button from the left in the menu below. Click on the number in the Start Time menu and then touch the moving bar below to set the desired sampling start date and time. The sampling time should also be set to 23 hours. After making the modification, press Enter to save the settings, then check whether the filter status on the first screen is in the reserved state and whether the set time is properly entered. Since the touch screen is electronic, not a pressure sensor, you must touch the screen with the surface of your finger. Your sampling settings are now complete.
23 hours later.
After 23 hours, when the sampling is complete, turn the lever to remove the filter and store it in a vinyl pack or plastic box to prevent contamination during transport. Then, to check the recorded airflow data, remove the USB inserted earlier and turn off the device to complete the sampling procedure. As for other menus on the device, we will explain them in detail in another video in the future. It is important not only to collect atmospheric particles, but also to store the collected samples properly. In order to store the collected samples, the cartridge and the sample must be separated first. Therefore, the top and bottom of the cartridge are separated in a rectangular metal frame in the same way as shown in the video. Then, using cleaned tweezers, the sample is separated and put back into the Petri dish where it was stored. Afterwards, the metal mesh and plastic cartridge behind the filter should be washed and dried for reuse. Through this process, the process of collecting particles from the air can be performed successfully.